สวัสดีค่ะ Hello and welcome to You Too Can Learn Thai episode 28 Listener Q&A. In this episode, I will answer the following questions. 1. What is the difference between เป็น and ได้ which mean can? 2. For the word เป็น that means is, am, are. When do we use it and when do we not use it in a sentence? 3.What are other resources you can use for learning Thai? And 4. Do I offer tutoring lessons? If you have been listening to this podcast for a while, welcome back. And if you are a new listener, welcome to You Too Can Learn Thai. My name is Nan, and I'm the host of this podcast. I love languages so much that I got a Ph.D. in linguistics, taught Thai at University of London, and now work in language education.I created this show to help you improve your Thai language skills. You can find past episodes, sentences, and translation on our website, youtoocanlearnthai.com. You can also subscribe to us on your podcast app to get updates about new episodes. Today, I'm going to answer questions that some of you sent to our email address, youtoocanlearnthai@gmail.com.The first question is about a difference between เป็น and ได้ I received this question quite a lot, and I have to say from the beginning that answers to this question are not clear-cut, but following is my take on it. The เป็น and ได้ that we are talking about here are the ones that are used at the end of a sentence, meaning can in English. For example, in episode 2, we have a sentence.คุณจรบอกว่าเขาทำอาหารไทยเป็น John says he can cook Thai food. คุณจร Mr. John บอกว่า says that เขา heทำอาหารไทย cook Thai food เป็น can คุณจรบอกว่าเขาทำอาหารไทยเป็น In this sentence we use เป็น to indicate that John can do something. Then what about ได้ Can we use ได้ in this sentence? In fact, if you change เป็น to ได้ this sentence is still grammatical. It's still correct. The sentence คุณจรบอกว่าเขาทำอาหารไทยได้ is also correct and also means John says he can cook Thai food. So, I think the first takeaway on this topic is that เป็น and ได้ might be interchangeable.And in many cases, the meaning is not much different. Both คุณจรบอกว่าเขาทำอาหารไทยเป็น and คุณจรบอกว่าเขาทำอาหารไทยได้ are good sentences. However, there are cases where meanings of เป็น and ได้ are quite different. In such cases, เป็น emphasizes on ability, while ได้ emphasizes on permission. First, let's look at ability. In English, when you say, the boy can use a knife, the word can here indicates ability, right? It indicates that the boy knows how to use a knife and not cutting himself. So in this case, when expressed in Thai, you can say, เขาใช้มีดเป็น with เขา he ใช้ use มีด knife and เป็น เขาใช้มีดเป็น he can use a knife or he knows how to use a knife. Along the same lines, when we talk about he can swim, this can also indicates ability. So the Thai translation would be เขาว่ายน้ำเป็น with the word เป็น and the word for swim is ว่ายน้ำว่ายน้ำ Again, the sentence for he can swim is เขาว่ายน้ำเป็น On the contrary, ได้ tends to emphasize on permission or external factors. Let's think about the English sentence. You can park the car here. In this sentence, the word can is not much about your ability. Instead, it means you are allowed to do something. So it's more about permission. An equivalent of this sentence in Thai is คุณจอดรถที่นี่ได้ with คุณ you จอดรถ park a car ที่นี่ here and ได้ คุณจอดรถที่นี่ได้ You can park a car here or you are allowed to park a car here. In summary, when a distinction is made, เป็น emphasizes on ability, while ได้ emphasizes on permissions or external factors. However, many times we don't really make distinction between the two, so they can be used quite interchangeably. The second question is also about เป็น but it's a different เป็น from the one we just talked about. Now we are talking about เป็น which is used as a verb, like is, am, are in English. First, let's look at the sentence. He is a friend, which is เขาเป็นเพื่อน It consists of เขา he เป็น is เพื่อน friend. Notice that เป็น is like an equivalent of is here. However, in a sentence, the food is very tasty. We say อาหารอร่อยมาก with อาหาร food อร่อย tasty มาก very. Notice that เป็น is not used here. So why? What's the rule for using or not using เป็น? My short answer is that we use เป็น for is, am, are when what follows is a noun. A noun is a grammatical concept, but basically it refers to a person, an object, or a thing. Like, in the sentence, เขาเป็นเพื่อน He is a friend. The word friend represents a person and is a noun. So, we use เป็น to accompany it here. เขาเป็นเพื่อน He is a friend. Another example is ส้มตำเป็นอาหารไทย ส้มตำ is a Thai food. ส้มตำ papaya salad เป็น is อาหารไทย Thai food. Because Thai food is a thing or a category of things, we use เป็น to accompany it. So we have ส้มตำ เป็น is อาหารไทย Thai food. ส้มตำเป็นอาหารไทย On the contrary, when what follows is an adjective. An adjective is a word that represents an attribute. Think about big, small, good, bad, happy, sad, tasty, annoying. They are all adjectives. For these words, you don't need เป็น to accompany them. In our example, อาหารอร่อยมาก The food is very tasty. The key word here is tasty. It represents an attribute, and in terms of grammar, we call it an adjective. So with this kind of words, you don't need to translate is, am, are into เป็น You just say, the food, very tasty. อาหารอร่อยมาก and that's a perfect sentence in Thai. So to summarize, if what follows is MR is a noun, like a person or a thing, then we use เป็น If what follows is an adjective, like an attribute, good, bad, small, big, then we don't use เป็น And one last thing I want to mention, if you happen to think that Thai is so weird, why do we sometimes have a word for is MR and sometimes not? Actually, this kind of usage is not unique to Thai. In Chinese, another language that I speak, there is a similar usage of the word 是, which is like a Chinese equivalent of is MR. If what follows is an adjective, the word 是 is not used either. So basically in Chinese, they also say, food very tasty. Pretty interesting, right? Next one is a question about other Thai learning resources apart from this podcast. Some of you asked for textbook recommendations. To be honest, I haven't used many textbooks, but the one we used at University of London is called Teach Yourself Thai by David Smythe. The last name is spelled Smyth, and it's pretty good. It's a comprehensive book that teaches you conversation, reading, and writing. Speaking of writing, some of you asked how you can practice handwriting. I found 2 PDFs online that you can print out and practice writing Thai alphabets. Because the links to those resources are quite long, I will post them in our show notes, so please make sure to visit our website, youtoocanlearnthai.com, then go to episode 28 to find the links. Lastly, some of you also asked whether I offer tutoring lessons. Well, I used to teach both online and in classrooms, but currently I'm not offering them because I just started a new job. Sorry I cannot help with this. However, if you have any questions, please feel free to write to youtoocanlearnthai@gmail.com, and I will answer them in upcoming Q&A episodes. Thank you for listening to YouTube Can Learn Thai. I hope you find this episode helpful. Today, I would like to read 2 reviews for our podcast. They actually came in December 2018, but somehow they did not show on my site until now. Sorry for being slow in reading them. One of them is from SF1278, who gave 5 stars and wrote, "Awesome podcast for learning Thai. I'm so happy I found this podcast. As a beginner, I need to read, listen, hear, clearly and precisely in both languages. The way this is organized and delivered is intuitive and effective. Well done. Highly recommended." Another review is from Ph.D, who also gave 5 stars and said that this podcast gives an in-depth explanation and venture to the details and complications of the Thai grammar, without compromising word pronunciations and the listener's pace of learning, presenting each lesson with such clarity and brilliance. Please keep up the good work. I need another episode. สู้ๆนะคุณ Nan. Thank you very much for the reviews. If you like this show, you can also leave a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, or tell your friends about it. Once again, our website is youtoocanlearnthai.com. Until next time, สวัสดีค่ะ